Is that our chancellor in a porno? In his final months as chancellor of the University of Wisconsin at La Crosse, Joe Gao posted on the internet pornographic films of himself and his wife. What was he thinking? And that is Joe Gao at his home in La Crosse, Wisconsin, the former chancellor, uh, who, and I'll put the story, the link in the show description, but because this is actually a follow-up, because this actually happened a couple of years ago, the initial reveal of his involvement. But this is in an interview that he did that I listened to very recently, as a follow-up, because the latest is the initial story was that he posted these videos in late 2023, a couple days after Christmas. The University of Wisconsin's board of regents fired Dr. Gao as chancellor of the La Crosse campus, because it was revealed that he had posted pornographic videos of himself and his wife, and he was fired for that. The latest is that they are trying to get rid of his tenure and keep him out of the classroom. So it was one thing to take his administrative role, but it's another to, I think, go after his tenure and so on the one hand, why should you, whatever we may feel about the act, why should someone's career be negatively impacted, and why should they not be allowed to teach? I don't even know that they should be forced to step down from this position if they weren't, because again, just quickly, he was not showing it to his students. He was not engaged with the university in any way with this. His wife, who was also an academic, it was everything was, and in fact, as this story goes into, they were very professional. They hired staff and crew and other performers. It was, he even talks about it being more work than people realize, and it was something that became a passion project for him and his wife. He said it helped his relationship, their sex life, and he didn't bring it into the classroom. He was not discussing it. He was not teaching it, anything like that. And then, as you see in this part here, he raises this question: how much of your life does your employer really own? Because and that's been really interesting issue in this whole episode. I think that, on the whole, the chancellor's side, yeah, they have some latitude over what you do, but as a tenured faculty member, wow, I don't think any employer should have anything to do with what a person does on their own time on the internet. So, and I agree. I you know the notion that it was damaging to the university doesn't hold up, because the enrollment, I just got the numbers, went up this year in the biggest first year class of the history of the university. So this scandal, which really the regents and the system president, they were the ones that made it a scandal. I mean, it would have resolved this. I mean, we could have resolved this more quietly, but they wanted everyone to know, hey, we're firing this guy because he's made pornography with his wife and put it on the internet. That hasn't damaged the reputation of the university at all. I don't see any evidence of that. And to his point, and I know this is a major concern to administrators, if you have is student enrollment. If you're not losing students, it's a win. And if you have the largest enrollment in the history of your university, it's a straight up win. They should consider it as promotions. Yeah, that was really the rest of it actually. Yeah. So I just thought that was fascinating. On the one hand, that a faculty member and his wife would do this, but that the university, and I agree with him. I don't think he should have lost any of his position, but certainly not a tenured faculty position for that. And I think it says a lot about where things are. And I think the other point that I thought that he raised there that I thought was powerful is that this is the institution that made it an issue. They're the ones that promoted they even did more to tell people what was happening by creating this high profile firing. So They thought they were going to get some points by showing their conservative nature and their not being, I think, this is what they were doing, captured by the so-called left, and it backfired. I mean, so yeah. So anyway, that was it. That was just something. So I didn't want, again, we don't have to take up Davon's time with that discussion, or really anybody's. But I just wanted to. I just thought that was a fascinating and somewhat disturbing story. Um, that I'm glad the Chronicle of Higher Education followed up on. Could be. This is a good point that they probably had some previously existing beef, but it shouldn't be relevant. Even if I don't like the guy, even if I disagree with the guy, this is not something I think you should be. Yeah, you heard the birds out. The birds are loud out in these tree-lined streets. Um, well, they weren't even keeping in Rao. They weren't keeping it academic. They kept it private. It was separate. He wasn't. They weren't bringing this into their academic work or to their classrooms. Yeah, shout out to the Howard County Birds, no doubt, no doubt. They're out here doing their thing this morning. Oh, you don't have to worry about me. You don't have to worry about yeah. I'm on the more clothes movement. And this is why I'm saying politically, I'm on the opposite end. I'm like everybody go online and put on another layer of clothes. Don't take anything off. Go online and put on another layer. Add clothing. That would be. Do they have an OnlyFans for that? Where you come on screen dressed and put on more clothes? Maybe that's how I'll try to get paid. I'll go out there and be like, come on screen fully dressed and just put on more clothing. That's what I'm talking about. No, I know it was a joke. I'm just adding to the joke. I'm definitely keeping my clothes on. I'm adding clothes. Put on another layer. All right. And speaking of other layers,
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.